Hey everyone, my name is Nick Strau. I completed the AI Master's Program at Duke in 2024, and I'm here to shed some light on a data collection app that I made for Dr. Bent's AIPI 540 class. So the project that I was working on was creating an AI Pictionary game where a user would draw sketches and a convolutional neural network would try to predict which class they were drawing. I really liked this idea and I thought it would be a fun demo to have in my portfolio. However, I quickly realized there was really no data set that was available for this sort of thing that I that I really wanted to use. I wanted to have my own custom classes that I could add to or remove from whenever I wanted to. So I realized I really needed to create my own data set for this. So you can see here some of the classes that I ended up settling on. We have things like whales, bicycles, planes, trees. I just wanted to have full control over this. So I needed to create my own data set. So this is the data collection app that I ended up coming up with. It's pretty simple, but all that the users are asked to do is see over here on the left, they're given a subject to sketch. So in this case, it's car. I'll draw a quick car to show you how it works. And I made this canvas on HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. And you can see here, there we go. Draw a car, hit submit, and this gets sent over to the cloud. So I save all of these images in an AWS S3 bucket, and you can see they're organized by class. So when I was making this, there are a couple things I want to point out that I really wanted to make sure I added. One of which is over here. I'm showing a specific subject that I'm collecting for. This may not always be applicable to every single a data collection task, but for my case where I was building a classifier, I want to make it very clear and obvious that the users need to draw this specific subject. Then I also wanted to add a progress tracker. So you can see here, this means that I've drawn 3 out of 5 cars that I'm asking. If I'll just hit submit a couple times, spin through the cars, you can see we'll be prompted with the next one and this counter to reset. You really want to make sure that the users are aware of how much progress they're making. So you can see over here, they're 5 out of 50 of the way done. And then I also gave some instructions that are always up on the screen over here for the users to see and make sure that they're doing things right. So overall, I think this was a fairly good, it worked fairly well, and I got a data set that I was able to make my game off of. However, there are some things that I would definitely do differently and some things that I found very useful that I ended up doing that I was happy with. So as far as takeaways from what I learned, I found that it's really important to start early. Really want to if you're making a data collection app, you really want to make sure that you can get it done and host it as fast as possible. So you can just send a link or a website to people as early as you can so you can start collecting data. For this project, I hosted it on Azure, by the way. If you can Google really easily how to host things on Azure using web app for containers, I would recommend that. It's very simple and they have a free option. Something else that I think it's very important to be aware of is bias in your data collection. I collected most of my data from AI PI students, like students in the actual master's program. This was at least half of my data. And these people were aware that I was collecting data for a model. And they were trying to help me out by drawing very unique styles for their drawings. For example, for a car, they didn't want to do all of their drawings as just like the side view of a car like I did. They want to add some differentiation to their drawings. So they may draw a car driving up a hill to try to make it challenging for the model or help the model learn in a variation of different possibilities. However, this really wasn't applicable to what a normal user would be drawing. So that's something to be aware of. That's the way bias crept into my system. If collecting different types of data, be really aware of the people you're asking and also how you're asking them, because bias can definitely creep into your data set this way and then later on into your model. I find it really important to keep it intuitive, fun, if possible, and trackable. So if we pop back over to my data collection app, I try to make it as simple as possible. You really just have a submit button sketch, a clear sketch, and then the instructions are always there for the people to read. I think it's really important to keep it really intuitive because people aren't going to want to read through 3 paragraphs of instructions if they're already going out of their way to help you. So yeah, that's something as well. I did get some feedback that this was too much. I was asking the people to do too much. So you can see over here, I asked people to draw 50 drawings. Most people did not finish this. Over like 80% of people never went through all 50. And I think this is on my part mainly because this canvas is not the best thing ever. You can see it doesn't leave the best of lines. So this wasn't very fun for people to do. And then also I asked a little bit too much. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Keep it realistic, what you're asking of people. And then also, I think it's really important after you're done with your data collection to verify your data quality afterwards. I did this manually because I only had around 1,000 data samples, and this was something that I was able to do. And this mainly consisted of throwing out obvious joke submissions. I'm sure you can guess what I got a bunch of funny or joke submissions in my thing when I sent it out to friends and all these different sources. So I think it was very valuable to actually go through this manually. If you can't do it manually, maybe your data isn't easy to check manually, or you don't really know what's true or what's not. Maybe you can just make sure you're moving like null values and things like that from your data set before you go and throw it into a model. And then lastly, this is something I didn't do, but I feel like if I added in some form of incentive to my data collection app, I would have received a higher number of responses and better data quality. Maybe you could do something like offer a free lunch or breakfast to one random participant who completely finishes your data collection app, or maybe even a gift card somewhere. It doesn't have to be monetary, but just to have that chance in there, I think it'll really incentivize people to fully complete the entire process, because most people will do a couple, at least in my case, and then get bored and quit. So yeah, that was my overview of my project and what I learned and what I wish I had done. And if you want to actually go in and see the code, it's specifically maybe how I send things to the cloud, how I set up my web app, you can literally just copy my HTML if that's something you want to do and build from there. It's all in my public GitHub repo, this AI Pictionary repo under my GitHub username up here. And you can go through and see everything that I did, and even try out my game if you want to do that, to get some ideas going. So yeah, glad I could help. I hope this will help you in your own data collection process, and best of luck.